Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, and of course the brown skin human coming back at you with another movie series review intro. My previous movie series review intro, whenever I uploaded to YouTube, for some odd reason, the newest, the Crush 40 upload of Sonic What I'm Made Of, their uploaded version for some odd reason has a copyright on it, and whenever I see, and the copyright is actually not a problem according to YouTube, but if I ever want to set this account up for monetization, it will be a problem. So I'm going to do a remade version using two non-copyrighted songs. Even though this is an intro for movie reviews and rants, the What I'm Made Of will from now on this channel will only be the outro, and I'll use one of the old school non-copyrighted uploads of Sonic What I'm Made Of. The intros will feature the Sonic Heroes theme, which I haven't used in a long time, and of course the iconic We Can that I use a lot now. Everywhere on every other platform, the intros, I will use the old intro. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Hey everybody, it's time for another Marvel review series, and this time this is my review of the Doctor Strange franchise, which is not really a franchise because these three movies I'm about to talk about are not really connected to each other, other than that each of them are loosely based upon the Doctor Strange Marvel comic book series by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the 1960s. Stanley Kirby and Steve Ditko in the 1960s. That's the only relation each of these has. Each of these were released at each of these three movies were released in 3 different decades. One in the 90s, the second in the 2000s, and the final, the most iconic one, 2016. But I wanted to do a full-length Doctor Strange. Franchise review. This is just the movies. Next time I'll have the comic books. I'll have the comic books and the movies to go with it. But I just don't feel like recording any. I just don't feel like reading comic books right now and recording a review alongside it at the moment. So just the movie reviews now to set up Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, coming next month. The first one is the first Doctor Strange film we're going to be talking about is a movie I just discovered recently in 2009. Was it 2000 in 2019, and that was a B movie from 1992 called Dr. Mordridge, which started off as a Doctor Strange film, but by the time the film was released, they lost the rights. By the time either the film was released or went into production, they lost the rights. But so they changed the title and made something else. And in my opinion, they made one of the most exciting B movies of all time. These 1990s B movies, in my opinion, were better than the blockbusters of the 90s. And if I had to choose, in my opinion, this is the best and most exciting Doctor Strange movie right here. The whole thing is like a hybrid of Doctor Strange, DC's Dr. Fate, and I don't think this was intentional, but Mortal Kombat with sorcerers instead of Shaolin monks, sorcerers, ninjas, mystics and everything. This is Mortal Kombat just with pure sorcerers, 2 sorcerers. Brian Thompson, who portrays Shao Kahn in Annihilation, is the villain here. His name is Cabal. I wonder if the people from Mortal Kombat saw this movie and decided to incorporate elements from this movie into their video game franchise. Then you got after Mortal Kombat, I'm pretty sure this one is damn sure unintentional, and this reminds me of Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho and Shirato, Legend of the Heavenly Spears, the animes and mangas. I'm pretty sure those 3 were witchcraft. It features a being from another world coming to our world, or a being from this world going to that world. Something like that. That's what this reminds me. This reminds me of. This had a phenomenal cast in the main character, who is known for his appearance in science fiction media, Jeffrey Combs as Dr. Anton Mordred, the main character. You got the beautiful Yvette Nepar as Samantha Head, who even as a middle-aged 58-year-old woman, is still a gorgeous woman. Then you got legendary actor Jay Acamoni as Detective Tony Gualdo, and the main antagonist, my boy Brian Thompson, who is really good at playing bad guys and aggressive characters, as Cabal, the main antagonist of the film, the evil, quote unquote, quote unquote, what's his name? This is the only one that will have footage in the background. The second 2 have way too many copyrighted footage, and I just don't feel like finding the 2007 anime film online. So yeah, the second part will be the 2007 anime film. This is the quote unquote 1992 Dr. Mordred film. So yeah, the plot is, the main character, Dr. Antoine Mordred is sent by his master. I keep forgetting his master's name. Is sent by his master to this timeline, to the main timeline, to pose as one of the humans. And he does this by being the tenant and owner of the apartment building complex. He meets his love interest. Samantha Hunt, Yvette Napar's character, yeah, and he's on a mission to stop the main antagonist, Cabal, a sorcerer and a cult leader, and his minions from finding a magic stone called the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, just like Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, and uniting these stones to I think, what did he want to do? Did he want to bring monsters from his to bring monsters to life, or to bring monsters from his dimension to our dimension? It was something like that for I think domination of the world. I can't remember exactly what his plan was. What his goal was. But that was his plan. What I just mentioned, that was his plan. But his actual goal, He initiates this plan by also framing Dr. Mordred, having him arrested by Tony Avocado's character, Jay Avocado's character, Jay Avoconi's character, Tony Gualdo, and Samantha Hunt and Mordred have to come up with some elaborate scheme to get him free. They do, and Mordred confronts Brian Thompson. Hey everybody, it's time for my review. Now time for my review of the 2007 Doctor Strange anime film, which, of course, in my opinion, was an entertaining anime movie. It's just meh and okay nowadays, but back in 2007, in my opinion, it was one of Marvel's finest, alongside the Invincible Iron Man anime film, and the later Hulk versus Wolverine film, which includes my boy Deadpool. This was one of Marvel's finest and one of Marvel's animation finest. It's just okay because this is eclipsed by the much superior and larger live action MCU series and the other Marvel cartoons that would come later after this movie right here. But this was a great movie. I remember being hugely into it back in 2007, because this was when I was hugely getting back into, I was already into animation, but was hugely getting back into number one, anime and animation in general. This was the big 2000s with Naruto, Bleach, and Boondocks ruling everything. Boondocks and Ben 10 and The Last Airbender ruling everything, ruling the cartoon world. So I was hugely interested in this Doctor Strange adventure, and I always thought Doctor Strange deserved his own series, his own movie, his own anything. It was finally good to see him have one. He was just an appearance in other people's cartoons, particularly Spider-Man. It's because of the Spider-Man cartoons I even know who Doctor Strange is. That animated series started it all for me. That 1990s Spider-Man animated series, that started off. That introduced me to all of the Avengers, man. So, yeah, the Doctor Strange 2007. There'll be no footage in the background because I just don't feel like finding any footage. And this is spot on for the most part. Spot on with the comic books, except in this version, Doctor Strange in this version is a little bit more selfish than he was in the comic books, in which where here he's an arrogant doctor who, when it comes to his neurosurgeon, neurosurgeon. When it comes to this neurosurgeon, he is purely motivated by money. He is purely motivated by money. In the other versions, yeah, money was important, but he still cared about saving lives. He was just arrogant and thought he was better. He was just arrogant and thought he was better than everyone else. And then when he got injured, when he got his arms, he went through a huge rehabilitation. Alright, now it's time for my review of Doctor Strange 2016. There will be no footage in the background because they have way too many licensed and copyrighted music. But Doctor Strange 2016. And at the end, I'll also give my thoughts on the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness film. What a phenomenal movie this was. This was one of my best and favorite movies of 2016 and one of my all-time favorite and best MCU films, because this MCU film was different from the other MCU films. The other MCU films are sci-fi fantasy, science fiction based comic book films. This one was purely fantasy with mysticism. Even the closest to this, Thor, had a lot of science. It was both science and magic. This movie is purely quote unquote magic. Something vastly similar to anime and Harry Potter in Japanese anime. Number two, I like, apart from the change from Mortal's character and race and the Ancient One's gender, who in the comic books the Ancient One was a male. In this film she's a female. This was spot on with who Doctor Strange. This is spot on who Doctor Strange was. This was spot on with who Doctor Strange was. And Benedict Cumberbatch, who portrays Doctor Strange. Talk about phenomenal casting choices for Doctor Strange. He looks like the comic book version of Doctor Strange. Doctor quote unquote Strange. Quality quote Strange. And like I said, while I thought Dr. Mordred was more entertaining, this film is bigger because it was part of the MCU. This film was part of the MCU. Story, action, everything, even the soundtrack, including surprisingly, I never thought I surprisingly would get a Beyonce song and put a ring on it, and a reference in a film like Doctor Strange. When I heard that Beyonce song, I thought somebody's music video was playing somewhere when I heard that song in the film. And then this was also the creepiest and scariest movie I've ever seen, of MCU film I've ever seen, because it dealt with cell regeneration, loss of limbs, limb rehabilitation, and paralyzation. So this was the creepiest film I watched. There was even one moment where one of my favorite and best moments of the film was the final battle with Dormammu. Strange, when he confronted Dormammu, he kept coming here. They kept reliving the same moment over and over and over again. And Strange was willingly to relive, in order to save the world, was going to relive until he got the bargain he wanted. He was going to keep reliving the same moment over and over again. The same moment. He kept saying, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. You've come to die. And he kept saying stuff. Then he killed him again. Then he rewinded. He kept coming back. And finally Dormammu said, what do you want? And he said, Earth, I think it was Earth safety. And Dormammu takes his minion, Caecilius, who actually felt sorry for Caecilius, and leaves for eternity to the wand. I think Dormammu will be back in the future. But Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. Then you have Mortal at the end. You could feel for his character. Throughout, they changed Mortal. The witch god, he's an arrogant sorcerer who thought he was more worthy of the apprentices of the Ancient One's teachings than Doctor Strange was, and this leads to them dueling it out. But here, this Mortal was in the beginning something sort of a, what you call it, misguided, tragic character, where he was told, where he thought he was, where he was told by the Ancient One, he was guided on the right path by the Ancient One, but discovered the Ancient One did something that was forbidden, that she told them that was forbidden, and then you could just see goodness sort of betray him, and now he figured out the plan. He figured out in his own warped mind that he can only correct the world, and that his first problem is there are way too many sorcerers, and that power has a purpose, and he ruthlessly takes paying horns, the paraplegic guy's power, power. Doctor Strange's love interest, can't remember the actress's name, but she did a good job. She did a good job too. Love the journey. Doctor Strange starts off just like the comic books. Doctor Strange. He's this world successful, arrogant douchebag neurosurgeon. It's basically Iron Man 2008 with magic powers, with quote unquote magic instead of tech. And then what's funny, when you put Strange and Stark together, the two didn't get it off, despite being a similar type of character. Then you got Strange, quote unquote, injuring his hands in the car accident, breaking it off with his love interest. What was her name? Christine Palmer, Rachel McAdams. Yeah, and breaking it off with her, and then using his arms, breaking it off with her, then going through the rehabilitation. His arms was so bad he couldn't even defend himself in a fight. Mortal had to come to his aid, and then Mortal brings him before the Ancient One. The Ancient One, even though she always knew Doctor Strange was worthy, she refused him the first time around. Then Doctor Strange, especially after Doctor Strange questioned the key and matter, questioned the key when he said, there's no key, there's no magic, we're all matter, something like that. But then later, having no choice, overgoes her teaching, becomes like the best student there quickly, but is told certain spells are forbidden. And there he meets his assistant, Mr. Wong, who in this version is his partner, and the Witch Cause is in the comics is his assistant, but they didn't want any racial overtones, so they made him his partner instead of assistant, and partner and also teacher in Wong. And then we have Doctor Strange and quote unquote, we have Doctor Strange and the other guy. We have Doctor Strange fighting Dormammu's men, led by Caecilius, where Caecilius drops a huge bombshell on Doctor Strange, where he straight up owns the Ancient One, telling her how she stole life from the astral, from that place where she told the others that it was forbidden, and then they have their next battle, where in this battle the Ancient One loses her life, but her astral body passes everything on to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange says Mortal won't understand, and then Doctor Strange reconciles with Palmer, and has the final battle with Caecilius and his men, and the bargaining scene with Dormammu, and the end is with him taking up the mantle, and I mentioned Mortal's New World, setting up Thor Ragnarok, and setting up his appearance in Infinity War. That was Doctor Strange 2016. Now for my thoughts on Multiverse of Madness. This already looks to be bigger, badder, and better than the first one. I can't wait to see it, man. Can't wait to see Doctor Strange get to shine again after what happened to him in No Way Home. I hated that in No Way Home. In order to have these three Spider-Man universes coming together, Doctor Strange had to get the shaft. He had to get beat up by Spider-Man and stranded in the Astroverse, whatever that world was, dangling, as he put it, throughout the entire film. When I would have liked to see Strange also fight those Sinister Six Spider-Man villains. But at least here he will get to shine Wanda's coming back too. Then I like since it's a multiverse, they're talking about appearances of the X-Men characters. The X-Men could be introduced here. They're even talking about, since Sam Raimi, who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy, is coming back. We could see Tobey Maguire in this universe right here. And they're even hinting at and teasing a Spider-Man 4. I do not want an Amazing Spider-Man 3. I do want a Spider-Man 4. A Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. Yeah. Tobey Maguire. But other than that, yeah. Other than that, great. So yeah, that's Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I can't wait to see it. Looks to be the biggest and baddest multiverse yet. Then they're also hinting at it. They plan to kill off a character here, so they have me just more interested in this movie right here. And the trailer dropped at the end of No Way Home. So yeah. Yeah, man. Finally, it's here. It took them long enough, but finally, Multiverse Madness here. Strange sequel should have been released a long time ago, but finally, it's here, man. So yeah, hopefully this one makes more money than the first one did. So yeah, this was Doctor Strange. This is my Doctor Strange franchise review and my thoughts on Multiverse of Madness. You don't want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.